Today I'm watching the Twilight Zone Season 2, Episode 16. The previous episode was about these home invaders who turned out to be from the U.S. Air Force, who land on this planet of giants and, who fight back and take out these tiny alien robot creatures, which was really cool. I really liked it. There was no dialogue in the episode, so that was an interesting approach, except for when we hear, the spaceship call back to planet Earth at the very end. But yeah, a really well done episode. This episode we know is about a bank clerk who can read minds, and that gets him into trouble. Rod Serling mentioned the episode is called A Penny for Your Thoughts, so very curious to see where we're gonna go. I really liked the last episode. I love sci-fi, so yeah, really enjoying this series so far. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you want to see exclusive content from this episode, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content.
You miserable, dirty, low-down.
Yeah, I would not want to have the ability to read people's minds. That would be too much.
We can marry Tuesday.
It would be impossible to filter things out.
Sorry. If he hits me, I'll die.
Oh my gosh.
I could never forgive myself. You clumsy idiot. I wish you'd broken your fool neck.
Oh my god. And what people are really thinking, yeah, and how horrible it could be. Like, oh my gosh.
Are you certain you're alright, sir?
Even though they're like looking you in the face and like smiling. Oh my gosh, no, I would never leave the house.
Lame brain.
Like, this guy literally just hit him with his car.
Jaywalking. You took 10 years off my life.
Oh, and his glasses are broken too.
Mr. Hector B. Poole, a bright human coin on his way to the bank.
Very interesting. Yeah, I love that they've added him in as these, in-scene narrations. Instead of just having, like, the voiceover, they've added this too.
Hector.
Well, working in the bank saved him from the end of the world like it did before. He'll be able to read all the books.
Oh, no, Felicia, baby, you misunderstand. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. Yeah.
They never do. They never do. Yes.
This weekend, huh? Just you and me, huh?
This guy, oh my gosh.
On my attention to duty.
Yes, Poole, we're all aware of your devotion to the bank. Get on with it, you simpering idiot.
It's like I'm trying to talk to my mistress, and you're really distracting me. And yeah, the close-ups on the mouth, like we can clearly see that their mouths aren't moving and they're not talking.
Bring you up by the thumbs.
Yeah, the broken glasses are definitely giving me, that other episode vibe.
Your weekend, sir? Spoil your weekend?
Where the guy, broke his glasses at the end.
You had something to tell me, Poole? Poole?
Yeah, how do you explain this? Like, obviously, yeah, no one's gonna believe you. And then even if you did tell them, you could hear their thoughts immediately of, like, what they thought.
I just think they can steal second anytime they want. Well, they won't steal a bag of popcorn with that southpaw picture.
Today.
What? What did you say, Hector?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
Yeah, and it seems to be like one person at a time. Like, he doesn't hear all the voices at once. He has to stand next to them.
At overdrawn notice.
No, sir. I work over there in the accounts section.
And he's like responding to their thoughts even though they haven't said them out loud. It's so funny. But nothing. No thoughts. Oh no. She's just holding her money and smiling.
Won't you sit down, Mr. Sykes?
Thank you.
A business loan for $200,000.
Oh my god, no kidding.
Which is it?
Pardon me?
Oh,
He's like, oh right, I keep forgetting. I can hear your thoughts and I'm not supposed to, explain this.
must be completely repaid within 90 days.
I certainly am.
$200,000 in 90 days.
Keep Ajax out of bankruptcy. I'll put half of it on Lucky Lady in the 6th.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna use it to go gambling.
Runner and Crinoline at
Oh,
5 to
he's
1.
not gonna pay that back.
Nimble runner?
Oh no. Oh no. He's like, how did you know that I was thinking that? Yeah.
Mr. Bagby, he just told me he's borrowing this money to bet on the horses.
I said nothing of the kind.
Nimble runner.
You thought it, and he knew. Yeah.
Well, there certainly has been a mistake.
Well, if you'll come into my office, I'll correct it at once. Talk to you later, Poole.
Yeah, and now it makes him look bad at work because, he knows things he's not supposed to.
More and assert yourself. But I guess that's not in your nature.
And this, like, statue? What? You can hear the oh my god. I was like, how is even the statue think? And to be at your place of work for this too, where like people that you're around, you know, frequently and that you have to go back to the next day, like this isn't in a store that he can just like walk out of.
Absolutely nothing. I haven't seen such an aggregation of beasts since the last time I went to the circus.
Oh my god, this is horrible!
Is there? This one probably a tiger under the proper conditions.
Oh no.
The sweet, prim types revert to the jungle once more.
Oh my god, this guy. Yeah.
You did that deliberately.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, sir. What are you gonna do about it?
I'll see you later about this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And how, like, the majority of people's thoughts aren't things that we want to say out loud.
Ah, but they'll be sorry for their treatment of me.
Is he stealing from them? And that's such an interesting way to frame it as well, to have Hector in the foreground. Yes. And, you know, potentially a version of him.
I'll go into the vault like I always do.
Yeah, there it is.
I'll take my briefcase with me, and no one will suspect a thing.
Yeah, he's been there 20 years and obviously doesn't feel appreciated and...
Shipped to Bermuda by nightfall. They'll be sorry.
He's gonna just rob the bank. Oh my gosh. And now Hector knows.
To discover that the money is gone.
And like the responsibility that comes with that as well. Like, does he has to do something, but then how does he explain that he knows this? And yeah, that angle of having, you know, the older coworkers sit there, you know, I think it was alluding that that would possibly be Hector in 20 years, you know, if he keeps staying where he is. It doesn't sound like they really appreciate his hard work.
Yes, Mr. Poole?
Well,
I wish we could talk someplace where it's more private.
I definitely think she has a crush on Hector.
Is this empty since his transfer?
that is a good idea.
And she's like, what are you talking about? I didn't say anything out loud.
Clearly, I've got this ringing in my head. Miss Turner, I can read people's minds.
Well, this will go over well. She's like, oh, he's nuts. Great. Yeah.
His courage.
Well, it just happened this morning. Now, Miss Turner, you may think that...
She's definitely thought that, like, this was going to have more of a romantic approach, and he's like, I can read people's minds.
Oh, well, if someone's going to rob the bank this afternoon, you should do something about it.
But how is he going to... What is he going to do? Just, like... Yeah, that's tough.
Responsibility to the bank, to the stockholders and depositors.
A smooch? He's not gonna listen at all. I mean, you know he's cheating on his wife, so... He's on the phone again.
Mr. Smithers is planning to rob the bank.
Yeah, this is not gonna go over well.
4:30, he's going to go to the vault, fill his briefcase. Then he's taking a boat trip to Bermuda. Tonight.
He's like, I know the whole plan. You know, step by step, I know exactly what he's gonna do.
Our oldest and most trusted employees.
Which is exactly why you've never expected.
Who's the man who ends up stealing the company funds? Isn't it always the most trusted employee?
Yeah, it's always the one you don't think. Yes, exactly. Yeah, like literal, like each step by step, he knows that closing the drawers, the book, everything that's gonna happen before it happens, because he knows. Oh my gosh!
And go to the vault to check up, just as he always does.
Is his boss gonna think that like he's in on it? Because why would he have such information about it?
He'll be back there alone. Only this time things will be different.
And yeah, of course, no one would suspect him going to the vault. I'm sure he's gone to the vault, you know, many, many times before. And have his nose pressed against the glass. Yeah.
Your great mistake, Mr. Smithers, was assuming that we were all asleep. A very great mistake. As a matter of fact, I've had my eye on you for a long time.
And there's nothing there. Maybe he was just thinking it but wasn't gonna do it. He was like, oh, one day I'll show them. I'm gonna steal all the money, but wasn't actually gonna do it. Oh my.
Where's the money?
And now, of course, Hector looks insane. Yeah.
What money?
We think a lot of things. We don't always act on them. So yeah, that backfired.
He was going to steal the money. He was going to take a boat to Bermuda. That was the story, huh?
That was his dream. Yeah, I think that was far-off fantasy.
Please forgive us all, Mr. Smithers. I should have known immediately that what I was told was impossible on the face of it.
And now Mr. Smithers like, how did you know what I was thinking?
It's true, of course. I was thinking of filling my briefcase with the bank's money.
Yeah, of course he was, yeah.
Sometimes it's Siam, Fiji. Beautiful exotic place.
Yeah, he was just daydreaming, like, oh, this place, I'm gonna get out of here.
And besides, Mr. Poole, I guess I'm a coward.
Yeah, obviously that'd be a pretty big thing to do. Like, even if he was to, ran away thinking he'd never get caught, and, like, it'd be a pretty big shift. He's like, well, no, I blew my chances with her because I told her I could read people's minds, and she thinks I'm crazy now.
Medical care, it will go away.
Miss Turner, it is not a delusion.
She's like, I was just thinking that.
People with their clothes off. I never imagined people were like that.
Yeah, it definitely reveals a lot about, like, their human nature and their characters, yeah.
Mr. Sykes has been arrested
For gambling with company monies. Yes, I know, Mr. Bagby. I tried to tell you that earlier.
He's like, yeah, I just saved you. A huge scandal.
You're wasted in that job. Everyone knows you should be in charge of the account section.
Yeah, if you could read minds, like, especially at a place like a bank, you'd be able to tell people's true intentions.
And that would mean he'd move into Mr. Jones's old office.
That'd mean I'd move it.
Yeah, he has to change it, yeah.
You're wasting time for. Felicia's waiting for me. Man, oh man, what a weekend this is going to be.
Oh my god, this guy. Too much.
Don't let him bamboozle you. Stand up to him. He needs you more than you need him.
She's so encouraging. I love it. So supportive. She's like, you get this promotion. You got this.
What business?
The business of Felicia and your wife.
And now we can just blackmail his boss whenever he wants. Yeah, he's like, oh, I know you're cheating on your wife.
No one knows about the trip.
The trip, Mr. Bagby? A word to the wise. Am I right?
He's like, actually, I might be able to use this to my advantage, so...
You won't say anything to anybody, will you?
Not a word. Not a word, Miss Bagby.
He's like, well, maybe I'll want a new watch, a new car, something like that.
At the bank's expense, I'd like you to buy a round-trip ticket to Bermuda.
Oh, that's so nice. Aw.
Mr. Bagby, remember.
One ticket to Bermuda.
That was a nice touch. Yeah, I was thinking he would get something for himself, but yeah, the trip for this Mr. Smithers. Oh, so he could finally live out his dream.
Shall we leave, Miss Turner?
I'd go anywhere with you.
Oh, Helen.
Of course you can, Hector. What do you think I waited for?
They're so cute. Oh my gosh. And I was wondering if he would, like, lose the ability, but it seems like he's gonna keep it.
Paper! Latest stocks! Paper!
Oh no, he knocked his coin over. Yeah, he is gonna lose it.
You're the guy who stood it up and you just knocked it down. Talk about coincidence.
Wait a minute. Listen.
Yeah, he can't hear the thoughts anymore, yeah.
Helen, I can't hear anything. I think it's gone.
I was gonna say, yeah, like, it would get old really fast and probably cause more trouble down the line, yeah. And also it would be very negative, I'm sure, to have all those thoughts floating around.
I can't hear anything. I can't hear a thing you're thinking.
Yeah, some thoughts should obviously be private, and, like, some thoughts, you don't want the world to know about, so... So that was my first time watching The Twilight Zone, Season 2, Episode 16. I liked this episode. I thought it was, a pretty accurate portrayal, or a somewhat realistic portrayal. Obviously no one can read minds, but if it was to happen, I feel like this is kind of how it would play out. I feel like Hector was a very relatable character, and of course being in the bank setting helped. There's private information. A lot of people, have bad intentions, good intentions, he's just in that position. I think if he had worked, in a library, maybe it wouldn't have had such high stakes, but obviously this bank robbery, and it did remind me a little bit of the previous episode we had in season 1 with, I'm blanking on the character's name, but he was in the bank, this world ends, and especially with his glasses break, when Hector's glasses break, that's what it reminded me of, the character who just loved to read so much, and to be back in a bank setting, of course. And I think this episode was telling of people's, true nature, and we even hear Hector mention that at the end as well. Like, you don't always want to hear what people are thinking about you. Sometimes people think things but don't act on them. Same with Mr. Smithers, his big dream of, I'm gonna show them, I'm gonna get out of here, like I'll rob the bank and I'll be gone to Bermuda. And of course he had no intention of actually doing that, but it's so true. Like, even as that is like, a twist component, I think is cool, because that's such a human nature, component. Like, that's such a true statement that we often have thoughts, but, don't always act on them, or, daydreaming at work if you're bored, like, oh, I can't wait to, take this trip and, be done with work for the day and get out of here. And I really do like that Hector, as his final kind of act, with his ability and knowing that his boss is cheating, he's able to get Mr. Smithers this trip. He's also obviously able to get this promotion for himself, but it sounds like it was something well-deserved anyway, and I really like that Helen was, through her, mind, talking to him, encouraging him to be like, don't let him push you around, like, you earn this, stand up to him. And I don't know if Hector would have taken that opportunity otherwise, or without the ability to read minds, would have had the information that he needed, because it doesn't sound like his boss was just going to give it to him, even though it does sound like he was a very hard worker and, had been there a while, and, it wouldn't have been out of the blue for him to get this, based on his performance. But the boss just wanted to get to his mistress. He's like, why am I fighting about this? I just want to go on my trip with my lady and, get out of here. And an interesting contrast from the previous episode as well, where we had one character, one location, very, very limited dialogue, and then to have the complete opposite shift in this, whereas back to busy streets, quite a few characters, and especially that opening shot, I don't know how many people are walking past him on the sidewalk, and then just constant dialogue as he's able to hear people's thoughts, and a lot of the thoughts are negative, and people looking at you and smiling and thinking negative things, but having this outwardly positive expression, and the close-ups of the mouth to be like, why aren't you talking? Like, I can hear you, but your lips aren't moving. And Hector trying to tell his boss, and he's obviously like, what are you talking about? Obviously they were able to save the bank from that loan that was going to go badly, because the guy was just going to take the money to go gambling, and thinking he's stopping this bank robbery, but of course Mr. Smithers had no intention of actually going through with it, but just kind of showcasing the pressure and responsibility. Like, I'm sure people will be like, oh, if I could just read people's minds, like, I'd be able to figure things out, or I'd be able to do this and that, but I don't see it as being a benefit. I think I'd see it as a burden. Like, it's not, if we're picking superpowers, that's not something I would go for, because I think it would get very loud, and we only heard one person's thoughts at a time. I thought maybe we would hear everybody thinking all at once, and it would just get very, very noisy, but it seemed to be he had to be standing next to them in order to hear their thoughts, or at least close to them, and then he could hear them. But yeah, the majority of them were negative, except for, Helen seemed to be the one who was, supportive and maybe feeling a little bit bad for him. And again, I definitely think she had a crush on him. Obviously, we see the two of them, get together at the end of the episode, and, Hector's got this promotion now. He's got this new, potential love interest, and definitely, a happy ending for a Twilight Zone episode. I wasn't sure if Hector would keep his powers, because we were getting to the end of the episode, and I was like, okay, he can still read people's minds, but yeah, tying it back into the start of the episode with that coin, and that kind of being the catalyst for what triggered his ability to read minds. I don't know that we really needed it. It was okay. Like, to me, that wasn't like, the best part of the episode. I like that he could read minds. I like that they explained it a little bit, but again, it's the Twilight Zone. He could have just woken up one day and had, the ability, and, him knocking his own coin over. So giving himself the ability and then also taking it away. And I think it's for the best. I don't think he would want to have this, ability for the rest of his life. I think it would get very intense. And like, what if he goes to the bank again and the next day someone says they're going to rob the bank, because they're also frustrated? Like, is he just going to run to his boss every 5 minutes saying like, oh, this guy in line, thinks he's going to rob us? And it just felt like it would become such a burden. And yeah, you're not meant to hear other people's thoughts. Like, it's supposed to be private. But I was glad that he was able to use, this 1 day pass he had to be able to read minds to get himself this job, have the courage to talk to Helen. and learn her feelings about him, but just to kind of have that sneak peek on people's intentions and what they're really thinking. Even when he gets hit by the car, the guy who runs him over, it thinks he's the idiot, like, and he's, smiling at him, but he's inside, he's thinking like, oh, this dummy, like he's gonna ruin my life, and like, finding out that his boss is having the affair, and, Mr. Smithers obviously planning this bank robbery, and the guy who's gonna go horse racing, and then of course we find out at the end that that's exactly what happened, and he ends up getting arrested. So the bank was spared. And when Hector was talking to his boss towards the end of the episode, I thought they were going to try and give him, a promotion, but a promotion that kind of used this ability to read minds, kind of being like, okay, you're going to be in charge of like all loans. You're going to, listen to people's thoughts and see, who we should, fund and who we shouldn't. But that's not what happened. He becomes, the manager of all the accounts, which again sounds like a much, long awaited promotion for him. Overall, I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was interesting approach on being able to hear people's thoughts, and again, it felt very true. A lot of the thoughts we heard were negative, and dreaming of a better life, or just being frustrated with day to day, or even the security guard thinking about baseball, and just this eternal dialogue that people have running, and the thoughts that they go through on a day-to-day basis. And to have somebody tap into that, I thought was interesting. But I'm glad the approach was from a character who had good intentions. Hector wanted to try to help. He wanted to stop this bank robbery, stop the loan. He does find out that his boss is cheating. He doesn't really call the boss's wife to say anything, but does use it to get himself a promotion, and of course to get Mr. Smithers that trip. But I'm glad we didn't take the approach like we've seen in previous episodes, where our main character has bad intentions, or is kind of that villain character, like when we had the thieves rob the antique store with a camera. I'm glad we had Hector kind of be our hero character. So yeah, a really well done episode. I really enjoyed it. The next episode is about a morgue, this hospital setting. Rod Serling was saying something about this horror episode, and he just mentioned 22. I'm guessing that's the name of the episode. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I'm a little worried to see what that's about. It was just him standing in front of the doors with morgue on the back, so maybe zombies. I don't know where we're gonna go with that, but yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Like, this guy literally just hit him with his car. It's like, I'm trying to talk to my mistress and you're really distracting me. And he's like responding to their thoughts even though they haven't said them out loud. It's so funny. $200,000 in 90 days. Yeah, he's been there 20 years and obviously doesn't feel appreciated, and she's definitely thought that like this was gonna have more of a romantic approach, and he's like, I can read people's minds.